Good morning, my dear friends. I'm going to tell you about parts of speech. Parts of speech is very important. It's impossible to speak or write correct sentences without the knowledge of parts of speech. If you have the knowledge of parts of speech, you can write the sentences without committing any mistakes. Suppose if you don't have the knowledge of parts of speech, you will have you will be committing more mistakes and the mistakes cannot be prevented. So I request every one of you to have the knowledge of parts of speech. It's very important. So parts of speech gives you confidence to write and speak confidently. Parts of speech advances our speaking and writing skills. Once we have the knowledge of parts of speech, it advances our writing skill as well as speaking skills. Other than the knowledge of parts of speech, we don't have any kind of confidence to speak anywhere. So we need to have good confidence to speak parts of speech with a great interest. Parts of speech is very important. So it shows how the words relate to each other. Because suppose you understand parts of speech, you come to know what is noun, and you come to know what is pronoun, you come to know what is article, you come to know what is adjective, you come to know what is verb, you come to know what is about conjunction, interjection, you come to know the uses properly. Once we know the uses properly, we can speak out the language anywhere confidently. Suppose you have money in your pocket, you go anywhere confidently because you have money. As it is, if you have knowledge of anything, you can face the challenges very easily. So knowledge plays and gives you more confidence to go anywhere confidently. So I request you to understand the meaning of parts of speech and the meaning of uses, the meaning of words, how the words are related to each other that can be understood only with the help of parts of speech. In English, there are 8 parts of speech are there. So we understand how many parts of speech are there in English. We have 8 parts of speech. One, we can understand the importance of parts of speech that can be understood by noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Suppose we don't know what is noun, what is pronoun, what is conjunction, what is adjective, what is adverb, what is a preposition, how can we come to know the uses properly? The uses can be understood only through parts of speech. This parts of speech gives you good confidence to understand the different usages which we can use in our communication very easily. Suppose we don't have the knowledge of parts of speech, how can we understand the words are related to each other? So we cannot understand. We will be in trouble. Ultimately, we will have fear to speak of the language anywhere confidently. So I expect you to involve yourself to know whatever you don't know is very important. So everyone doesn't know everything what we do. Simply we try to know with pleasure. Suppose you try to know everything by pleasure, you can't know everything very easily. We should not know anything by pressure, we should know everything by pleasure. Pleasure gives you interest gives you enthusiasm, enthusiasm gives you confidence gives you clarity, clarity gives you involvement gives you a kind of total indulging yourself in a learning process so that you can come to understand everything properly. Now I shall tell you what are the 8 parts of speech, how they have different unique features. Now before I am going to tell you about 8 parts of speech, I have already told you noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. These are the 8 parts of speech. Now I tell you the meaning and usage of noun. Noun is the name of a person, place, animal, thing, or idea. there are several kinds of noun. So now in noun we have different kinds of nouns are there. So now we have proper noun, now we have common noun, we have countable noun, we have uncountable noun, we have abstract noun, we have concrete noun, we have collective noun, we have compound noun. Now I shall tell you one by one so that you understand everything very easily. There is no any kind of problem to understand the noun. Now I have told you what is the use of noun. Noun is the name of a person, place, animal, thing or idea. Now I tell you different kinds of noun. Proper noun. Proper nouns are names of people or place, thing. They also refer to a specific time, day and date like the 10 a.m. or Monday or April like that. For example, name of the person. So Ashoka is the name of the person. Srinivasan is the name of the person. Sulaiman is the name of a person. So the name of the place, Taj Mahal is the name of the place. So any place we are telling you, when you mention the name of the place, suppose I go to city. City is a common noun. City here means, so we can mention Chennai is a proper noun. Book is a common noun. English book, for example, it's a proper noun. University is a common noun. Madras University or Tirunelveli University, okay, any university we mention the name, it's called proper noun. Mobile is a common noun. Vivo Mobile is a proper noun. So college is a common noun. So Islamic College is a proper noun. When you mention the name of the place, person, thing, specifically, that is called proper noun. I met a teacher. Here we have not mentioned the name of the teacher, it's called common noun. If you mention the name of the teacher, I met Raghu teacher, Raghu is a proper noun. I have bought a book for the examination. A book is a common noun. I have bought English book for the examination. So English is a proper noun. So I have bought an instrument for the performance. Instrument is a common noun. I have bought, so what a kind of name of the instrument is mentioned in the sentence is called proper noun. So I went to a college. College is a common noun. I went to a name of the college is mentioned in the sentence, it's called proper noun. So whatever the name of the place, a person, a thing mentioned in the sentence, it's called proper noun. If it is not mentioned, it is common noun. Sometimes they also refer time. I meet you at 10 a.m. Day, time, day and date. Suppose I'm going to tell you I meet you at 10 a.m. on Monday. Okay? You are going to say like this. It is also a proper noun. Proper noun, the name of the person, place, or day, date mentioned properly. It won't create any kind of confusion to the listener. Listener will be in a position to understand your sentence very easily. There won't be any problem for the listener. Listener will understand your sentence very easily. So that we go for proper noun and we talk about common noun. So we have already discussed common noun. What is common noun? So we have not mentioned anything here. Common nouns are name of people like a builder, things, pens, animals, cat, horse and places like that. Beach. Suppose you go to a beach, you have not mentioned the name of the beach. You met a person, you have not mentioned the name of the person. You bought a book, but you have not mentioned the name of the book. You went to a college, you have not mentioned the name of the college. So you went to a university, you have not mentioned the name of the university. So when you have not mentioned the name of the place, person, thing, it's a common noun. When you mention, it's proper noun. I hope you understand what I am trying to say you. Now I should tell you, collective noun. It is used to refer a number of people, animal, thing, which we group together, speak of a whole. For example, batch, team, some flies, ship. Like this, it's a collective noun. Soldier is a collective noun. Parliament is a collective noun. In parliament, we can find group of people. In family, we can find group of people. In ship, we can find group of people. In team, we can find group of people. So when we meet, when we have group of people, or when we to group together, I speak of as a whole. That is called collective noun. I hope you understand what is that collective noun. How collective noun is very important. Now I tell you. So compound noun, the beautiful usage of compound noun. Compound nouns are noun made of two more words. Some compound nouns are like this: mother-in-law, board of members. Then we can tell you family members. Family members. We can say like this: members of the family. Members of the family. Classroom. Like this. So here, made of two more words. That is called compound noun. Now we go and see the beautiful definition of abstract noun and concrete noun. So what is abstract noun? An abstract noun is a quality of something that we can think of. Then we can think of example, beauty, France. We can feel, but we can feel, but we can't touch. We can form abstract noun from common meaning nouns: childhood. Okay, know, knowledge. Affirmative, happiness. For example, slavery, you can feel. Boldness, you can feel. Okay, then a kind of what you can say a kind of happiness we can feel. Can we touch all these things? Suppose a person comes and says you he's sad, so I will say he's sad. So we can feel the status, but we can't touch the status. We can think of the status, but we can't touch. That is called abstract noun. No, I tell you, the concrete noun. A concrete noun represents something that can be seen, touched, tasted, heard, and smelt. It is the opposite of abstract noun. In abstract noun, what we do? So we think of, so because we felt, but we can't touch. In concrete noun, we can touch, but we can't feel. For example, table is a concrete noun. We can fox is a concrete noun. Tree is a concrete noun. Barn is a concrete noun. Cloud is a concrete noun. These are the concrete nouns. Now we talk about countable noun and uncountable noun. So how we are going to identify countable noun, uncountable noun? Countable nouns are nouns that can be counted. That can be counted. For example, chair, table, pen, universities, colleges, teachers. So everything that can be counted. It can be counted. For example, I can see before countable noun what we do, we have to use a. So I bought a chair. I bought a pen. Okay? I met a teacher. Okay? I went to a college. So a can be used before countable noun. So before indefinite, before consonant and before countable noun. A can be used. Suppose I have bought a pen for you. I have bought a furniture for you. I have bought a mobile for you. I have brought a gift for you. A. So when we count the thing before countable noun, we can use a. So I bought a pen. I bought a chair. I bought a furniture. I bought a mobile. I bought a chalk. I bought a duster. I bought a book. I have brought a book for you. I have brought a gift for you. So like this we can use. Suppose when we go for uncountable noun, we cannot use a before uncountable noun. For example, we cannot use infant rise. We cannot use a rise. We can't use. So we can't use a oil. We can't use a wheat. We can't use. Suppose someone comes and says, I went to buy a oil. It's a wrong sentence. It's a wrong sentence. I went to buy a weed. It's a wrong sentence. I went to buy stars, A stars. It's a wrong sentence. So before uncountable noun, we should not use A. Only before countable noun, we should use A. For example, A pen, A mobile, A chair, A book, A university. All like this we are going to use it. Now before uncountable noun, we should not use A. For example, rise, I, read, like this. Now these are the important kinds of noun: proper noun, common noun, countable noun, compound noun, abstract noun, concrete noun. Like this we can understand. So we cannot memorize all these things. What we do, we have to keep in our mind. So how do we keep these in our mind? Only when we learn all these things with pleasure. If you learn all these things with pleasure, you can keep it very easily. Suppose some people are telling that, so I go on reading, I go on forgetting. It's not good. So when you read or when you learn anything wholeheartedly with the pleasure, you never forget anything. If you learn anything with pressure, you forget. So when you forget, it means you have learned, so without having any interest. So learn everything with interest so that you never forget anything. So whether it's a grammar or any subject, so whatever we learn with pressure. Pressure is very bad. We learn with pleasure. So pleasure is very important. So as long as you have pleasure, you will have interest. As long as you have interest, you will have enthusiasm. As long as you have enthusiasm, you have involvement. As long as you have involvement, you have clarity. As long as you have clarity, you have expression. As long as you have expression, you have language. As long as you have language, you have beautiful usage and sentence. These are very important. I hope you understand what's a proper noun, what's a common noun, what's a compound noun, what's a collective noun, what is a abstract noun, what is a concrete noun, what is a countable noun, and what is an uncountable noun. Hope you understand. And there won't be any problem for you to speak out these sentences with anyone. It's impossible by anyone to write and speak without the knowledge of parts of speech. So suppose someone speaks without the knowledge of parts of speech, someone who speaks English but who doesn't know what is proper noun, common noun, countable noun, collective noun, countable noun, abstract noun, he can speak out, but there might be a lot of problem he commits because he may not have the confidence to speak out anywhere because he has little knowledge and parts of speech. So anyone can speak out, but when we know parts of speech, we can speak out very confidently. So parts of speech means it is spoken by anybody else. Suppose it gives you confidence. So when it gives you confidence, you can speak out very easily, and there will be any problem for you. So you understand the importance of parts of speech, how parts of speech, in parts of speech we go for noun, in noun we go for types of noun, in types of noun we have understood how the sentences are used specifiedly, unspecifiedly. So we have understood everything. I hope you understand. Thank you so much.